Hello, world, and thank you for coming to my channel, The Life of Poon. How are you doing today? I am doing well. I am feeling great. I am feeling energized, even though I'm not all hype right now, because I want to talk about a serious topic and something that always bothered me. So let's get started. Teaching your kids how to fight is essential in this world. Let me tell you why. When I was younger, I remember being at church, and got on a van. The van was packed full of people. My grandmother was on the side of me, had friends in the back of me, people that I knew from the church was there and everything. Like it was like one of those gatherings. And it was one of those things where it's a normal day, just getting on the van, like just leaving church, happy that you got to see your friends, etc., etc. So we on the van, they taking everyone home, and a boy calls me out. Oh, Poon is so gay. He acts like a girl. He's so feminine. He's so this, he's so that. I can't even tell you what he said, but I just know that I was embarrassed. I was humiliated because, mind you, my grandmother's on the side of me. So she's hearing everything as well. And he's just saying all types of rude things about me. And I'm like 8 years old, so I don't even know what gay is. I'm just being who I'm naturally am. And he was calling me out, saying I'm this, saying that I'm that, like strictly, straight up embarrassing me, slapped to my face, like disrespecting me in front of everyone. And no one said a thing. I didn't even say a thing. My grandmother hold my hand the whole entire time, and just held my hand. No one said a word. And even though I came from church, it felt like I was going through hell from the embarrassment, from the treating me like I was no one, and no one even stood up for me, not even my grandmother. And it was one of those things that, yeah, I felt her comfort of her hands, just telling me like it's gonna be all right and like it's okay, and just felt her warmth. But no one realized that was a hell type of moment that I was going through, where I was just so humiliated and felt so belittled at the same time. And it was one of those things that I had to realize that it wasn't for others to stand up for me. That lesson was for me to stand up for myself and stand in my power. And I didn't. I stayed there and was so hurt and felt so ashamed of myself, where I was just distraught. And yes, people could have stood up for me and I would have appreciated it. But now I'm being stronger and wiser in the skin that I'm in now, today. It was a moment for me to stand up for myself, because from that situation, no one standing up for me, no one having my back when I was being disrespected, called all types of names, and gay, when I haven't even had sex with a guy. I haven't even kissed a guy. I don't even know what gay is. I wasn't even on that type of level. I was just living my life being me. And it was one of those moments where I had to, and let me finish, because from that moment, rippled effect continuously to my life, where I felt like no one would stand up for me. And it trickled down to the fact that I felt as though I really felt as though like it was one of those moments where, hold on, I'm trying to get the light, child. Hold on, I'm trying to be serious, but the light then took me out, and you seeing all types of darkness. Let me get in the light. Okay, here we go. Okay, and it was one of those moments where it had me realize that I went through my entire from like 8 till 20 something. I went through not standing up for myself and not realizing that that was the main lesson, was to stand up for myself and to fight, and not physically, even though sometimes when it comes down to the nitty gritty, you gotta do what you gotta do, child. But it was one of those things where I had to fight to stand up for myself, and fight to stand in my power, and fight to not be disrespected, and to fight for my own worth, and not to just let anyone say what they wanted to say to me, and especially not take their words and dim my own light because of their words. And it took me so long to realize that I cannot allow that in my life. I cannot allow words to tear me down and belittle me. And I cannot just be quiet while I am getting slapped across my face and disrespected in the worst possible way, in front of my grandmother, in front of my friends, in front of family members, in front of like everybody. And it was from that moment that I realized that when I have children, I'm going to teach them how to defend themselves verbally, and how to, if it comes down to it, defend themselves physically. Because it's one of those situations where I didn't stand up for myself for so long, and I just let people just walk all over me, say what they wanted to say about me, and me not even defend myself. And I'm, like I said, I'm not talking about fighting, even though, like I said, if it comes down to it, but I had to fight to stand up for myself, and to fight and not just silence my voice, because my voice matters. And from that moment, by no one saying nothing and my grandma just holding my hand, it just made me silence my voice. Instead of me taking my power back, it actually made me silence my voice and made me just be quiet to what people have to say about me. And looking at that now, I was doing myself an injustice. That's my favorite line to use, because I really was doing myself an injustice by shutting my mouth and not speaking up for myself, not defending myself, not standing in my power and speaking my voice. And it's one of those things that teach your kids to defend themselves verbally, because they're going to be attacked. And it's going to hurt their spirits. Think about some of the things that stick with you to this day from your childhood that hurt you and made you look at life different. And one of the things that I realized, that I have to speak up. My voice matters. And it hurt. And it hurt even more throughout the years of me building up all that resentment inside of me from all the things people were saying, and made me feel less than of a person, because I didn't want to defend myself, because I didn't want conflict with people. And that's what my grandmother taught me. I love her to this day, but she taught me the wrong thing at that point in time. She didn't tell me to defend myself, because from that moment, if I don't defend myself, who will? I'm 7 years old on a church ride home, just got the whole glory of God all in me, and was tore down to hell like that by the embarrassment of the shame, of the guilt of who I was, when in all honesty, I didn't even know who I was at the time. And it was one of those moments that I had to realize, looking back at my whole entire journey of life, I have to speak up for myself and defend who I am.